Alright guys, this is the new FX Airguns King 30 cal, and today we're going to put it to the test at 100 yards with pellets from Zan Projectiles and JSB Match Diabolo, as well as slugs from Zan, Nielsen Specialty Ammo, and FX. We'll shoot it at 50 yards with moderators by DonnyFL and Impulse Air, and we'll do it all on the OEM tune, cleaned up a little bit. We'll shoot it out of the Saber Tactical Chassis as well as out of the OEM stock, and I'll get you through a trigger test, sound test, refill, and more coming up. AEAC is made possible by Air Venturi, Hawksport Optics, Diana Airguns, FX Airguns, Saber Tactical, Air Arms, Leapers and UTG Pro, Zan Projectiles, Air Marksman, and Predator JSB Match Diabolo. And you guys know the best way to thank them. Guys, the FX Airguns King is a total beast in 30 cal. Mine was generating 90 foot-pounds of energy with the regulator barely idling at just 113 bar. And with its macro power adjuster and micro power adjuster squarely in the neutral zone at around 14 and 2.5. Point being, you can push these guns a heck of a lot harder than I did mine for this review. But that's not what I wanted for you guys for this one. This time I wanted to take the King right out of the box and shoot it as it came to me from the manufacturer on that OEM tune, cleaned up just a little bit, and see just how much ammo I could get that to work with. And turns out, it was quite a bit. And that's much of what we're going to do today. And we'll do most of it at 100 yards. And in some pretty darn high winds. So this video is in honor of those that don't like to fiddle with the controls much. But for those of you that do want to learn how to push your King harder and want to learn how to properly tune, I've got a full FX Airguns A to Z tuning guide for you right here. Through the valve and out the barrel. And I also recommend you watch this other tuning guide with it. The valuable lessons and step-by-step methodology and approach taught here apply to all airguns, including those manufactured by FX. On the topic of high winds, this is not one of those moments. These JTS 45 grain pellets had the luxury of winds at just 3 to 4 miles an hour, out of my 8 o'clock. And while you can see that there is some light left to right push, it's a real testament to what these guns can do with pellets, given good conditions. And here's the tune, guys. 600mm Smooth Twist X Superior Heavy Slug Liner, mind you, because that's what came with the gun. Regulator set to 113 bar. Macro power adjuster on number 14. Micro power adjuster on number 2.5 plus 4 clicks. Average velocity 951 feet per second. Extreme spread 9. Standard deviation 2.30 feet per second. 50 good usable shots at 89.89 foot-pounds of energy. And here's your flight data, provided by the FX True Ballistic Chronograph. Velocity and power in 25-yard increments are displayed on the left. And on the right, high velocity, low velocity, standard deviation, extreme spread, number of shots, and ballistic coefficient. For this group, winds were steady at 13, gusting to 18, and they were coming out of my 7 o'clock, giving these Zan Projectiles 56 grain BR100 pellets a chance to shine. Speaking of that, let's shine a light onto the OEM tune. Out of the box, the regulator was set to 115 bar, and I pulled that back a few to 113. The macro power adjuster was set to number 24, and the micro power adjuster set to number 3. which I dialed back to number 14 and 2.5 plus 4 little clicks respectively. And the reward was significant. I went from 30 good usable shots to 50, while only losing 1 foot per second. And I was able to shrink my extreme spread from 15 and 4.07 all the way down to 9 and 2.30. In short, what I was able to do is to increase the efficiency dramatically, while not losing any power or speed. And that's the beauty of these guns by FX. You can optimize them for temperature, barometric pressure, and altitude, enabling the user to squeeze out all of the available performance and tune away any waste air emerging behind the pellet or slug as it leaves the barrel, thereby disrupting it and reducing its accuracy, all the while maintaining the factory's settings for velocity and power.
miles an hour. Good night.
As if to emphasize my point about the value of being able to clean up your tune. A clean tune will also make your pellets and slugs more resistant to the ill effects of the wind by flying them truer, with less wobble that ugly wind can hook onto and disrupt things. By the way, guys, the Picatinny Bipod bottle clamp I'm using today is also by Saber Tactical. And it's a decent way to mount up a bipod without having to drill holes in your beautiful laminate GRS stock. For fill equipment, I'm running the Marksman tank, valve, and fill whip.
Yeah.
In case anyone's viewing this from a cell phone, I'll read some of this flight data off to you. Average velocity across the 5 shots was 885 feet per second. Extreme spread was 5, and the standard deviation was 2.32 feet per second. Average ballistic coefficient across the 5 was 0.067. The Zan 56s were leaving the muzzle with about 98 foot-pounds of energy and still holding on to 64.6 of those 100 yards away. Upon impact, the pellets were still moving at about 720 feet per second. Now, the King itself is rated for up to 300 bar bottles, but the one that comes with the gun is 250 bar refillable. So what that means to you is that if you want, you can go after market and get yourself a 300 bar bottle and valve like this one here from Marksman. But for today, since my bottle is rated for up to 250 bar, we'll be refilling to that amount. Now, to get the job done, pull the dust cover off of the Foster fill on the bottom of the gun and hook up your fill whip. And slowly fill to no more than 250 bar. When you're done, bleed the air between your fill source and the gun. Disconnect your fill whip and replace the dust cover. That's all there is to it. Before we move on, let's try those Zan 56s again, but this time out of FX's Smooth Twist X Superior liner. They offer a Superior and a Superior Heavy, with the Superior taking advantage of a 1 in 40 twist and the Superior Heavy a 1 in 16 twist. That 1 in 16 is going to spin your projectile up a lot faster, probably making it more ideal for slugs. And that 1 in 40 is more of a slow twist, theoretically making it better suited for pellets. But as you're seeing here today, these rules are not hard and fast, so you just got to experiment. I ran the included 1 in 16 twist Superior Heavy liner for this entire video, and it performed great with both slugs and pellets. And the only scene I ran the Smooth Twist X Superior 1 in 40 liner is this one right here, the retest of the Zan 56 grain pellets. It won't be exactly apples to apples because wins are down quite a bit, but I did want to offer the comparison, so here we go with wins at 3 to 5 out of my 8 o'clock. Swapping liners on the FX King couldn't be easier. Begin by unscrewing the front portion of the shroud. And do not try to unscrew the portion just behind it, the section closest to the receiver. That's actually not a shroud, but rather the plenum for this airgun. Its lungs, in other words. It's filled with high pressure air, enabling a much bigger sneeze. Ergo, more power. With the shroud removed, take a 10mm wrench and break free the threaded end cap holding the liner in place. Then simply unscrew it. Now you'll be able to slide out your liner. Slide the included carbon fiber sleeve off of it and onto the next one. The end of the liner that goes into the breech is marked with this circular cut around the liner. Don't mess that part up. Slide in your new liner assembly. Replace the threaded end cap that holds it in place. And tighten with that 10mm wrench to just barely snug. Replace the threaded shroud, and you're all done. The wind really came up for me shot 5, but you guys get the idea. This is a solid combo. Alright, here's the flight data out of the 1 in 40, guys. Average velocity 867 feet per second. Extreme spread 9. Standard deviation 3.16 feet per second. Average ballistic coefficient across the 5 shots 0.068. For shot 5 there, the Zans left the muzzle at 865 feet per second, holding on to 702 feet per second 100 yards downrange. Leaving muzzle energy was 93 foot-pounds, and arriving muzzle energy was 61.3. Zan Projectiles makes a good slug too, and man are they slippery in the wind. This is his 49 grain, but he offers a lot more. If you don't know Jean, as he says it, he lives in Slovenia, and I'll have a full SHOT Show interview coming up with Jean in January, to be released in February, so don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out. This video clip is out of my video documentary of the Northeast Airgun Classic, otherwise known as NAC. It contains 6 in-depth pro staff interviews and much, much more. You can check that out here. Saber Tactical's chassis for the FX King is a remarkable piece of equipment. The cheek rest, butt pad, and length of pull are all super easily adjustable, and no tools are required. Build quality, fit finish, and function are all next level. It's seriously nice, guys. It comes with quick disconnect sling swivel ports, a front rail that hooks up to both Arca Swiss and Picatinny style bipods and tripods, a whole bunch of M-LOK cutouts to add weights and other accessories, textured grip machined into its belly to help it stick to gun bags, and it comes in a bunch of colors and will work with all the different bottle sizes. I'll show you how to install it after this group. Wins today are out of my 10 o'clock at 5 to 7. Zan's 49 grain slugs averaged 915 feet per second. Extreme spread across the 5 shots was 3, and standard deviation was just 1.20. Average BC was 0.091. Departing velocity was about 915, and arriving was 784. Foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle were 91.3, and arriving foot-pounds 100 yards downrange was maintaining 66.9.
What is it, boys? What is that? What is that? What is that? Is that an earthworm? You guys want to get that earthworm? You want to get it. You want to get it, don't you?
Swapping your FX King into the Saber Tactical Chassis is easy and just requires a few tools. The first thing you'll want to do is to flip your safety into a position and remember which one that was. Next, back out the screw holding it in place. And set the 2 pieces aside. Now remove the 2 stock screws just behind the fill port. I like to leave them right in the stock. Now the one behind the trigger guard. From here, gently work the stock straight up and off the gun. Now gently lower the Saber Tactical Chassis into place just as you remove the OEM stock. It'll come with all of its own screws. Holding it in place and level with your left hand, screw in the screw behind the trigger guard with your right. This screw is not removable from the Saber Tactical Chassis, so don't try to. Now seat the 2 screws behind the fill port and snug everything up. Blue thread locker's not a bad idea. Mine required it to keep the screws from backing out. In the tub of the chassis below where the bottle rides, you'll find a Teflon tipped screw. And all the accuracy you saw here today came with this screw being lightly seated up against the bottom of the bottle. I basically screwed it in until it made contact and then just gave it a little bit more. Now it's time to plop your safety catch back in. Do so gently and in the exact same position in which you removed it. This is important so that the cut key on the bottom of the safety lines up with the cut key bits on the receiver. I like to confirm that I'm lined up by gently rocking it back and forth. Now replace your screw and thread it in until it just lightly seats. Any more pressure than that and it just won't function properly. Now take the included spacer and bubble level and drop it into place, and lock it down. Take the included grip and the included screw and move them into place. Then screw it to the chassis. That's all there is to it, guys. FX Airguns King swapped over into the Saber Tactical Chassis. The Accutac Bipods I've been using today are the WB4 Picatinny and the WB4 Arca Spec QD. They're a made in USA product and come out of sunny California. Operation is simple. To adjust the cant, break the lever free on the bottom. Rotate into the position you want, then lock things back up. To adjust the resting position of the lever, pull it back to disengage it and put it wherever you want. The legs extend and retract on a locking ratchet, are fun and easy to use, and are rock solid. Manipulating the legs is as easy as pulling down and away to disengage the locking cam. A similar locking cam design secures the bipod to your gun and is very smooth to operate. And if you wear out the rubber feet, they're easily replaceable. The Accutac Bipod is a marvelous piece of equipment must-have. Speaking of that, these 44.5 grain FX Hybrid Slugs are kicking ass out of the Smooth Twist X Superior Heavy 1 in 16 twist liner, and all on the OEM tune. Winds were pretty calm at 3 to 4 and out of my 9 o'clock. Average muzzle velocity across the 5 shots was 927 feet per second, with an extreme spread of 5 and a standard deviation of 1.94 feet per second. Average ballistic coefficient across the group, 0.091. 100 yards away, and the FX Hybrid Slugs were still maintaining 791 feet per second. Foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle was 84.5, still carrying 61.8, 100 yards downrange. Now the trigger on the King is dual stage, it's match grade, and it's very easily adjustable on the bottom of the trigger bar here. The first stage take-up is clean and light and smooth and quite short and comes up against a nice solid wall, and with just the smallest amount of pressure and zero creep whatsoever, off it goes. Out of the box, 1 pound, 7 ounces. Oh, not today. Not today. Nielsen Specialty Ammo makes a great slug, and over the years I've been able to get them to work in just about everything I've tried them in. And what's interesting about the group you're about to see is that it busts a common misnomer having to do with slugs. And that's that you've got to push them hard and fast. Now don't get me wrong, about 1,000 feet per second is a great speed to try to get them to. And this King could have easily done that with a bit of tuning. It is true that often you'll realize great stability for them up to around 1020. But they can also run great at 900 and even as low as 800 feet per second, and sometimes even lower. At least that's been my consistent experience over the years. For the group, we're going to have quite a bit of wind, 7 to 11 miles an hour and out of my 8 o'clock. And here's 10 more I filmed at 100. The NSA 65.5 grains are on the left, and on the right, the NSA 47.2s. They validate another 8 shots sub-MOA and in the breeze. These here are the 65.5s. It's just one more testament to not having to fiddle with these guns too much to get the performance out of them. So many think you do, and you really don't. Just find an ammo that works with them and roll with it. The 65.5s are heavier, so they were leaving the muzzle at about 95.4 foot-pounds of energy, and landing 100 yards away, still holding on to 74 of those. Velocity at 100 yards was about 700 feet per second. Average velocity across the 5 was 810 feet per second, with an extreme spread of 10 and a standard deviation of 3.29 feet per second. Average ballistic coefficient across the group was 0.112. At 95 foot-pounds out of the crate, the FX King 30 cal produces quite a bark. So I wanted to be able to try a couple of aftermarket moderators for us. The first being the DonnyFL Yokozuna. It's modular, so it can be used as a tuning tool, with a fringe benefit being that you can control its overall length and noise output. It affixes with 1/2 inch UNF threads, or with an included quick disconnect twist lock system. Fit, finish, and quality are all first rate, and man does it work. We'll be using these JSB matched Diabolo 44.75 grain pellets to help show it off. In a little bit, I'll share with you a 100-yard group with them. They're another good one to have on hand if you're gonna own this gun. And they shoot great on the OEM tune. The Impulse Air Model 1350 is another solid choice. It too is modular, allowing you to influence tune. The 1350 comes in a variety of shapes and sizes, and even offers several colors. Attachment is via 1/2 inch UNF threads. The Impulse Air's gained a lot in popularity in recent years, and if you check out that knack video, you'll see a lot of guys and gals running it in competition when big money's on the line. Here's another one. It's called the Rocky Mountain Airgun Challenge, and it takes place annually in Utah. And I'm not kidding when I say you can walk out of there with over $30,000 in winnings over a long weekend. 2025 was my 7th year in a row creating a video documentary of that incredible event. Check it out. Little side note, these Zans do really well in the wind for some reason.
Not even the wind phases it. Now in 30 cal, the King comes out of the box snorting 95 foot-pounds of energy, so it's gonna have a bit of bang to it. Now if you want to quiet things down considerably, you can, such as with this aftermarket solution by DonnyFL. This one's called the Yokozuna. And this one's called a Model 1350, and it's by Impulse Air. All right, ladies, you're gonna have to find a different place to hang out. Go on, get, yeah, 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 yeah. Go, 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 get, scram. Thank you.
The absolutely gorgeous and insanely ergonomic stock that comes with the FX King is not actually a product of FX. It comes of a partnership between FX and GRS rifle stocks. If you don't know the Norwegian company GRS, the guy at the helm there, Oscar Hougan, was a sharpshooter, sniper, and sniper instructor in the Norwegian military. These days, he heads up his family business, GRS Rifle Stocks, which has been around since the early 1980s. I actually had the privilege of meeting Oscar at the Rocky Mountain Airgun Challenge. He's as kind and cool of a guy as they come, and I really, really love his stock. If you want to get to know him too, check out this video interview I did with him 2 years back. And here's those JSB 44.75 grains at 100 yards. On the OEM tune, and out of the included 1 in 16 twist, Smooth Twist X Superior Heavy Liner. Winds for this group were steady at 4 to 5 and were out of my 8 o'clock. The JSB 45s ran nice and tight with an extreme spread of 4 and a standard deviation of just 1.47. Average velocity was 951 feet per second. Average ballistic coefficient, 0.045. 100 yards downrange, they were still holding on to about 685 feet per second. Average foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle was 90, still maintaining 47, 100 yards away. For optics today, I'm running the Element Optics Titan 3 to 18 by 50 first focal plane APR 2D MRAD reticle scope. It takes advantage of a 34mm tube and sharply impressive glass. The 3 to 18 model offers 150 MOA of internal elevation travel. And it's compact, making it quite the little Swiss Army knife of scopes. What's more, it comes with a lifetime warranty and everything on it operates with glee. I can't see anyone not getting excited about it. Holding it to the gun are Made in America UTG Pro POI Precision Optics Interface Scope Rings. These are the 34mm medium profiles. They're made out of 6061 T6 aircraft aluminum and are finished off in a nice stealthy flat black. An included T25 Torx wrench locks them down. If you're gonna own a King 30, make sure you've got some JSB Diabolo 44.75 grain pellets on hand too.
Well, that is all for today, guys. And special thanks to Utah Airguns, FX Airguns, Element Optics, Leapers UTG Pro, Saber Tactical, DonnyFL, Impulse Air, Air Marksman, and Accutac for getting all of this into my hands to review for you. You guys know the best way to thank them for that one. Now from here, y'all want to head on over to the Airgun Nation forum so that you can participate in the discussion thread on the FX Airguns King 30 cal. I'll leave you a link on how to get there in the description down below. So with that, I'm Steve Shalley. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a great week, everyone.